Welcome to BCN's new series, What's Happening Now, a collection of informational and hopefully entertaining programming where we speak substantively to interesting and important people. And here we are with What's Happening Now. Today, Pete Benton has joined us again and brought his dear friend, Joe DiBella from Newbern?
Newbern, yeah.
And Morehead City, because that's where you keep your big boat, the Cricket.
That's it.
And we're going to talk about the Cricket, but we're going to talk about the history of why you two are together. You're both Navy veterans.
Yes, sir, we are. I served in the Navy right at the end of Vietnam. And Joe was back in the 70s as well. And matter of fact, I went through Great Lakes, Illinois boot camp and was assigned to USS Forrestal in Norfolk, Virginia. I did 3 Mediterranean cruises and did combat support operations for Vietnam.
Fantastic. The Forrestal.
Yes, sir. James V. Forrestal, former Secretary of the Defense.
Yes, I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's quite a story. We'll have to talk about that sometime. Yeah. You know the story, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh, Joe, nice to have you here.
Appreciate it.
And you're here for a purpose. The purpose is not that you're a veteran. The purpose is that you help veterans.
Exactly.
And you help them deeply and from a loving heart. And I'm so thankful for you doing this. And Pete is moreover even more thankful than I am because he's graciously brought you here. Pete has a softness in his heart for veterans. I like to refer to Pete as a veterans activist because he's in touch with so many people to do so many good things for the people that keep us safe. And I thank you for doing what you do. That chapter, which is taking people out on the Cricket to catch big fish, including sharks.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the Cricket is a vessel that was built in 1947, and it was the boat that they modeled the movie Jaws after. Peter Benchley wrote the book about the boat and all the adventures that Frank had on the boat with catching sharks. And Frank has since passed away, and I've been on the boat since I was 8. And by the grace of God, I got the boat donated to me.
Frank
Mundus was the original captain.
Oh, okay.
On the boat. And this boat has a lot of history, and I thought it would be a good idea to keep her going. So we had it was left in Connecticut in a boatyard, and we had it trailered down here, which it's never been done before. She's 4,500 pounds, weighs 40,000 pounds. It took 2 tractor trailers to get it here. So, but the good thing is that people recognized the value of the boat, the history, and we had a police escort from Connecticut all the way down here to Beaufort, North Carolina, and they just kept switching different police departments all the way down. And the word got out of what we were doing. I let the word go out about 3 months before this all happened. And as we were passing Cherry Point on 101, they had a color guard out there saluting the boat as she went by. It was just a fantastic thing to see. And 100 days later, I reassembled the whole boat and got her in the water. And we had a couple of congressmen down there and senators, and a bunch of people came down to see the christening. And we've been fishing her for 6 years now. And
the boat originally was out of Montauk.
Out of Montauk Point, yeah.
And Long Island.
The very end.
The same area where the movie Jaws was purportedly made, or was about.
No, the movie Jaws was based in Massachusetts.
Was it really?
Yeah,
it was in Massachusetts. It was always Long Island.
No, it was near a place called Sandwich.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so Martha's Vineyard, that area in there, and Montauk just didn't have the facilities they had up there. But they modeled the 2 boats that they used in that movie. One was half broken. The other one was floating. And those boats were lobster boats that were converted to look a little bit like the Cricket. So, but the Cricket's still going. She's 73 years old, and I hope to be on it for another 50 years, God willing. But she's a strong boat.
You've showed me some pictures. It is a beautiful boat. It's and what it does now, it has such purpose. I pray that it will be going for many, many years, many generations. Maybe outlive you a little bit.
I doubt it.
We're going to go on forever, aren't we?
Well, I'm going to be 70 next year. I feel I got another 50, 60 years to go.
I kind of do too. Pete's got 70.
Yeah, well, he ain't going to make it.
No, he won't.
He lives too high now.
He does, doesn't he? He keeps himself in good shape.
Yeah, he does.
Though. Pete.
Yes, sir.
Tell me a little bit about what brought you to what Joe does.
Well, one of my dearest and best friends I grew up with and have like North Carolina was Mike Bullia, and I was very close to Mike and his brothers and his sister.
And both his parents were our Boy Scout leaders. And probably about 4 to 5 years ago, Mike had mentioned that he was working on a special project with a guy named Joe DiBella from New York. And then they were restoring a boat that was very similar to the boat they used in the movie Jaws. But he said with this specific purpose in mind, that they wanted to pay tribute to the veterans, especially the handicapped veterans, and that they wanted to reach out to the veterans and their families and offer a free fishing trip adventure at no cost to the veterans. And I said, that's pretty phenomenal. And Mike had told me that Joe had taken a lot of his own personal money to completely rebuild this boat and outfit it, so it can be used for that. And matter of fact, as I recall, it's also handicapped accessible.
Yes.
He has a special equipment on there that allows wheelchair-bound veterans to go fishing. And he said Pete, to be honest with you, is one of the most extraordinary experiences of my life. He said, I really felt like him because Mike's both of his parents served in the Marine Corps. His father was in World War II and Korea, and his mother was in, I think, right at the end of World War II. But so, Mike and his family, they've always been very, very pro-veteran. And Mike's father, after he retired from the military, he taught all of his children how to build businesses. So his kids have a tremendous faith and work ethic, and they're very, very strong for the veterans. And when I told him that, I said I'd like to help out. So one of the things that I'm doing is to try to raise awareness about this great project and what it does for the veterans. Because there's an old saying that nobody knows the price of freedom like a veteran does.
Yeah.
We paid the price for freedom, but we did so because we love our God, we love our family, we love our country. Okay. And this is something in a small way that I can give something back to the men and women that I've served with in the military, and that we can honor those, in the words of Abraham Lincoln, who have given their last full measure of devotion for God and country. And Joe's got some pretty exciting stories about some of the veterans he takes out, because they're from Camp Lejeune, Cherry Point, I think from all over the military installations. And it's a very heartwarming story. And it restores your belief in the goodness of this great nation, that we care enough about the men and women who serve our country and protect it. But also, I would submit to people that it's important to say thank you to the law enforcement, fire and rescue, the first responders. They're part of the family as well. And there's one of my favorite biblical verses is, greater love hath no man than this, that he lay down his life for his friends. John 15:13. And I think that is something that's at the heart and soul of every American veteran, that, we believe in God and we believe in this wonderful blessing called liberty, and freedom is not free. But, as long as there's veterans who believe in God and love this country, America will always be strong and free.
100%. And I fear that today's times that we do not recognize the sacrifice of veterans, because I know that the folks out there, a lot of them would not sacrifice themselves. And we expect others to do it for us, and that is wrong. Sometimes maybe we should bring the draft back just so we could all think about it a little bit.
Yeah.
But talking about restorative properties and the value of restoring the humanity in others, especially veterans, do you see that when you take them out on your trips, that they're changed at any point?
Every time. I mean, I deal a lot with PTSD groups, and they have directors that come with them. They call themselves directors, but you know what? I think they're angels, these guys. And they come out with these people, and some of them are women that have PTSD. And they're very timid, very shy, set back. And we get them on the boat, and being a boat captain, we don't think like a normal citizen. Everything is having fun. So what I do is I get them on the boat, and I show them how to cast a rod. I show them how we just take the time and spend the time with them one-on-one. And I usually take 4 to 6 of them at a time. And then on the way back, I let each one of them take turns driving the boat back. Oh my God, you want to see them go. And you can't shut them up. We get them back to the dock. Did you see what I just did? Did you see I was driving that boat? Did you catch it? And they just opened up. And I've got quite a few and that still call me and ask me when the trout are coming in and things like that. So it's been a really great adventure for us and a great experience. The whole group of us that are involved in this thing, we really enjoy it. Last year, we had the opportunity to get a wheelchair lift installed in the boat. And I also have a regular home handicap toilet in the boat, like you would find in a house. Well, unheard of in a boat. And I get a lot of these guys on the boat that thought they would never be able to get on there. And I had one guy come out from Missouri, fished 3 days with us in a wheelchair. So, I mean, this is just, a lot of these people are so thankful of what we're doing, but it's been a real hard climb because we don't get a lot of donations, and that's how we work, strictly on donation purposes. So we started taking charters this year, but of course the weather's held us back quite a bit. And the charters, if we can get $300-400 for a charter, that's enough to take out 3 or 4 guys on a trip. You know, because we got fuel, insurance, all those things add up, licensing. But we're enjoying it. And, you know, like I said, I'm going to be 70. And what else am I going to do? I don't farm. I don't, you know, I can't make load no more. I'm too old.
Well, for the rest of the show, we can count on Joe being honest with us.
There you go.
I appreciate that. So when we left, we were talking about restorative properties. We're talking about restoring your boat, and we're talking about restoring our veterans' spirits.
Exactly.
Which is so important. Mm-hmm. And I would wager you're saving a lot of their lives, considering the rate of suicide amongst veterans.
It's sad. That and homelessness.
And homelessness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, is it that bad around here?
I would say about 20% of the people we've had so far that were veterans on the boat, some of them were homeless.
Oh, that's so terrible.
Yeah, and it, you know, it's what gets me excited about all of this is that they can be helped, and it's like the avenue for helping them seems to make a detour to illegal aliens first, and then the veterans on the bottom of the list, and it doesn't make sense. So. But, you know, we do what we can, and we spread the word out as much as we can. And I've got a couple of congressmen and senators that we talk to once in a while about it, and it's been a big help. But the other issue we have, too, is which is very important for us veterans, is the health care.
Has it improved under Trump?
Well, it has, but somebody's not telling him that there is no Veterans Choice Program. And he keeps saying it, but there is no Veterans Choice Program.
Oh, no.
It's called community care now. They keep switching stuff around, and I don't think they're letting him know that. So I'm no, it's not. Every time I see him on TV, it's not.
It's called community care, not Veterans Choice. And change that.
They keep switching around. Right now, there's a third party for veterans to get VA care. So it's Tri-West is one of them, and they split it off, and now United Healthcare has a company called Optum, and that's who I'm under right now. So if I need to see a doctor, I have to go through Optum, and they have to get approved by the VA. And before you know it, like 6 or 7 months pass by before I can even see a doctor.
So you might as well have just tried the VA to begin with.
Yeah. So right now they're trying to get me to go see this heart specialist. I have a clogged artery in the back of my neck, and they're trying to get me to see this person. I haven't heard nothing yet. It's been 3 months. I'm still waiting to get an appointment.
Well, the president can only push the issue.
Right.
Congress has got to come in and make it right. And we really do need to have the Congress and one party controlling both houses.
This Congress is useless.
I
mean, to tell you the truth, the way I feel, I think we would all be better off with no Congress, just the senators. We'd probably pay the debt off pretty quick before all the payments we make to these guys, and they're never there.
So you're saying the Senate's doing a better job than House of Representatives?
Yeah, that's how I feel. I mean, a lot of people I talk to feel the same way. The Congress is just on vacation all the time. Give themselves raises. They got the best health care in the world.
Yeah.
You know, my God.
Yeah, this has not been a good Congress.
They're not better than a veteran. They think they are, but they're not. A veteran goes out and puts his life on the line.
If I could talk the math of it for just a moment. Mm-hmm. Pete, you join in when you want to.
Okay.
Less than 1% of the population are veterans.
That's correct.
I would say, and I had a son that was a veteran. I didn't serve myself, but I know Pete and I know you. But I had a son that was a veteran. And so I'm within about another 7 or 8% of people who are families of veterans. Mm-hmm. So that means there's about another 93% out there that really are not touched by veterans that much. So think about it. Because we have funneled down our fighting forces to pure volunteers, and they're the best of the best, and they can do things that veterans couldn't do years ago. They are fabulous. We just don't have the public as involved as we should with veterans issues, because I would wager, since the federal government was set up to protect us and do all the things that states couldn't do, number one, protect us. Mm-hmm. Veterans issues at the federal level should be paramount.
Yeah.
So I guess you got to deal with your congressmen. They better be good congressmen. We better get some good people from our area to Washington, D.C. What do you say about that, Pete?
I definitely agree. And I would say I had the great privilege. Walter Jones and I were very, very dear friends. We go back 50 to 60 years. And I recall vividly that Walter's office would call me from Washington and would call me from Greenville and say, we've got some issues we need some help with. And it was a great privilege, and it was very humbling and very inspiring to reach out and help our fellow veterans to deal with issues. Because as Joe has said, they're dealing with PTSD, all kinds of mental and emotional, issues, and also physical disabilities. And many of the veterans that, I've talked to and everything, a lot of times, Stan, they get to the point where they just want to give up. We cannot turn our backs on this great country, and especially our veterans. There's a beautiful thing that was given to me when I retired, and it was a beautifully framed, multicolored patch, and it had all the crest of the 5 military branches in it, and it had the eagle in the center, okay? And it said, "The nation that forgets its defenders will itself be forgotten."
Oh my God.
And I'm a firm believer that if America is to remain strong and free, we need to take care of those who protect it.
Right.
And, there's a lot of issues that, matter of fact, I'm working with like the Purple Hearts guys down at Kevin Hines and the folks in New Bern, Carteret County, Onslow County. I'm working with American Legion, the VFW, and we're reaching out to the veterans to be proactive. First of all, they need to know that they're appreciated. Yes. And that you recognize their contribution to our national security. But I think most importantly, they need to know that someone cares about them and somebody loves them. And this is the kind of stuff that Joe and I and other veterans are committed to, because, it's serving God in your country is the most noble calling to a greater social good that you can do. Because, we in America are a very blessed nation. And we've been given so many things. I mean, America is the envy of the world. I know when I was in Germany 10 years ago, many of the Germans that I became friends with in my tour of duty there told me, they said, Pete, we remembered what happened to our great country, especially in World War II and all of our neighbors. And he said, America is that beautiful symbol, that eternal flame of freedom and faith that burns bright for all the world to see. And this is why people come to America. They want to be able to worship God in their own way. And they want to be able to be free to make decisions about their own lives and their families and their friends, and to lead a life that is befitting. And I think that, again, there's no more noble cause that you can serve. And I've worked with some pretty extraordinary people and reaching out to the veterans and helping them. Like Joe said, there's at least 1% to 2% of these guys are homeless, and they have nobody. They have no family. I go and visit the veterans' homes over in Kinston and places like that. It's a heartbreak. It's absolutely will break your heart when you go there and you see these men and women, and they deserve our absolute respect and love. And that's something that, like I said with Joe, I'm proud to do.
We've been that city, that shining city on the hill. Sometimes I don't think we are that shining city of the hill. It's pretty ugly here in America right now. And let's face it, none of our veterans are out there burning our cities. Mm-hmm. They're there to protect our cities.
Amen.
A lot of them are now police officers.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And we see what's happened with that, the way they've been run through the mud and treated improperly. It's almost like they've come home from Vietnam. Isn't that right,
Yeah.
Pete?
Oh, yes.
Does that remind you of those days?
Sure it does.
And we've got to stop this. As a nation, we've got to respect those that serve so that we can be free, because freedom is not free.
Amen.
And it is well taken for granted. And what you're doing is so important. We all want to help Joe. And on our website, we will have a way for you to contribute to Joe. So we'll help you with that. We don't know how we're going to do it yet, but once we finish this, we'll finish a way to figure out how to help funnel some money to Joe and his cause. Because what Joe is doing locally is bringing the spirit back into human beings that have gone beyond the call of duty to take care of all of us and give us a place to live that is the envy of the world. In the last segment, we were talking about restorative values of the souls and spirits of our veterans. How many people have you taken out, veterans have you taken out on your boat? All gratis, by the way, that you've paid for and some of your contributors have helped with.
Right. In the last 6 years, this is going to be we're almost halfway through our 6th year. We have almost 300 people that we've
300?
taken out so far, yeah.
That is so nice.
Yeah, and I would say more than half are disabled veterans.
Oh,
And
what a contribution.
The unique thing about the area we're in, there's a lot of veterans on the eastern coast of North Carolina, because we got Cherry Point, we got Jacksonville, we got all these places where they migrate there. They ended up staying after enlistment was over. And so that was one deal. The other thing was that how far our word spread about our project. We've had people from Missouri, Hawaii, a lot of people from California migrate and take plane rides to come over here to fish with us because of the history of the boat and the Jaws thing and all. But we have on my list, I've got another batch that's over 300 on the list right now to go. So it's
Quite a backlog.
It is, and my wife's getting overwhelmed. She's like, I can't believe there was that many people interested in fishing on this boat. And it was like, I got one guy sent me pictures of his living room. He's got Cricket 2 stuff from back in 1960 all over his living room. And, we're just happy to do it. We're happy to be there for them.
We need help.
Big
we
time.
request your help. They deserve it. It's for a worthy cause. We really would like to have the public's help here. And did they catch any fish?
We catch a few.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, the boat has 9 world records. The biggest
9 world record.
The biggest record we have is largest fish ever caught on rod and reel.
How big is it?
3,427 pounds. It was a great white taken on a 130-pound test line. And that still stays in the record book. We've got a couple of 2,000-pounders, a 3,000-pounder, a 3,800-pounder, and I think the first small one we got was 1,800 pounds. But these are all fish that were taken. And then we got a Mako that's hanging in my house. I had it fully mounted, and it's 1,080 pounds. That was taken on 50-pound test. So, the fish are out there, but the beauty is we don't have to go out 40 miles with these fish. The big fish are in close. They're eating the little fish, and the little fish are on the beach. So we do a lot of wreck fishing. We don't just shark fish. We wreck fish. We tuna fish. We do whatever's in season. But we're always ready. When we catch big sharks, we're generally chasing something else.
When you caught that great white, which was 3,450?
3,427.
3,427. Where were you?
We were fishing on a dead whale in Montauk.
In Montauk?
Yep, there was a whale that just floated up. One of the other charter boats called us, told us about the dead whale, and we just picked up lines and headed for that spot. And Frank stayed on that fish for probably 3 days. And
Wow.
we had a couple of 5,000-pounders come in, but they didn't take the bait. They were eating the whale. And Frank got this idea to get on top of the whale and set some hooks on there. when they came up, they'll try to take a chunk of the whale and get a hook. And that's exactly what happened. That's how they got the 34-27.
That's a pretty brave thing to do.
I got pictures of him standing on that whale. The guy was crazy.
Oh, gosh. And that's the captain. He must have been the prototype for the captain in Jaws.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What you saw in Jaws with him.
Played by Robert Shaw, if I remember correctly.
Smashing that radio.
Yeah.
Frank done that plenty of times. Plenty of times. I mean, I was only like 15 years old, and remember he come up out of the boat was dead flat calm. The boat was sitting there, we were chumming, and Frank, the boat started doing this from side to side, and Frank come out of the cabin. He was sleeping, and he got up and he looked up and he saw the back of the boat, and you'll remember this from the movie. A great white had grabbed the hull of the back of the Cricket and grabbed it and had its teeth on the transom and was shaking it like that.
Gosh.
And Frank shook his head, and I was like, whoa, are we dying here? And he just grabbed his baseball bat that was coated in lead and started beating this shark off the back of the boat. And I'm like, oh my God. This guy was my hero back then. I was like, what the heck? But yeah.
And did he know the great whites could jump up and take him if they wanted to?
He told me that was the first time he's ever seen him do that. And he says, luckily, it was the Cricket and not a custom-built boat or a factory-built boat, because those boats, he would have ripped the transom right off.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Because the Cricket's got a 7-inch transom made of oak. So it ain't going nowhere. I mean, I was on the boat when the shark went underneath the boat as we were drifting and picked the boat up and slid over. And Frank was sitting upstairs with a jackknife eating an apple. And my father was sitting upstairs next to him on the flybridge, and he looked over the side, and all this red paint from the bottom come out of the bottom and floated in the water. And my father said, Frank, do you see the size of that shark? And Frank said to my father, he says, Charlie, he says, I've been watching that fish for 30 minutes. Don't worry about it. Calm as anything could be.
Since we're talking about Jaws, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that the mayor in Jaws, I think the first two Jaws, was from Washington, North Carolina. His name was, God bless him, he's been gone for a while, Murray Hamilton.
Okay.
And he was the uncle of a dear friend I have here in Washington, Steve Walker. And I got to meet Murray a few times at Steve's house when I was growing up. So I knew the mayor from the movie Jaws, and you knew the prototype for the Robert Shaw character. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Do you know anything about Roy Scheider?
I met Roy Scheider.
Oh, you have?
Yes, he called us up. I told him I was coming to Montauk, some of the newspaper people who interviewed us. And we met with Roy Scheider, talked to him on the phone first. And he told me, he says, I just want you to know that no matter what the Hollywood is saying, I know for a fact that the Cricket 2, because he lived in Montauk, and he told me the Cricket 2 and Frank Monis was the model for that. And he says, and I happen to know that your father, my father, built Frank's garage, and that's what they used that picture to make all those teeth hanging in that picture. It was all the same setup.
I did not know that. Yeah. That's so cool.
He was a great guy. He was great, but Dreyfus, he didn't want to talk to nobody.
He didn't want to talk to me? Roy was great. Roy was a great actor.
Great actor, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've seen a lot of his movies. Yeah. That was the one he did about Bob Fosse. It was really good.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's a big jump from the sheriff of the mythical city up in New England to Bob Fosse. It was a big jump. Yeah. But a big jump for us is having you here today. I appreciate it. It's been great. It's been great. You've enlightened us. We're going to want to have you back at some point. Maybe if you'll have us down to your boat, that would be wonderful.
I got to think about that.
I'm not bringing the beer, I promise.
Okay.
Pete's bringing the beer.
Pete's bringing the beer. It better be domestic.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us today. We've had a great time. We've learned a lot, and we hope that you will help out. It is the Cricket 2 project. Thank you for coming, Joe.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Pete.
Yes, sir.
We'll have you back for sure.
Thank you.